So, a very good afternoon and very warm welcome to all the participants who are joining in today's webinar. I, CA Tanya Gupta, on behalf of Optitax, welcome you all in today's session on burning issues in ITC, Input Tax Credit. Vanakkam, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal. Hope you all are safe and doing well during these tough times. Though COVID cases have gradually fallen to a great level, but we should always take due precautions whatever necessary because our health is in our own hands. Before moving further with our deliberation, I would like to steal a moment and wish you all a very happy Father's Day. I still remember the time I was little and I used to look to my father for love, strength, and support. He gave me his all and don't ask for much in return. A selfless act of a man who would do anything and everything for me. So basically, Father's Day is a celebration to honors the fathers of the world, fatherhood, paternal bonds, and the vital role fathers plays in our society. It's a day dedicated to fathers so that we can appreciate all the hard work they do. So, on a positive note, let's wait for our friends to join in because we at Optotax want to create a platform where we all stand united and head ourselves toward the growth and development. It's always said that if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk together. अगर जल्दी चलना है तो अकेले चलिए, लेकिन अगर दूर तक जाना है तो सबके साथ चलिए. Reason being, we always come up with such knowledgeable and insightful session for all the tax professionals, be it on GST, income tax, cryptocurrency, etc., with the best faculty across the country for overall development of the tax professionals. So let's wait for our friends to join in. Yes, I can see in the chat box. Good afternoon, Mandeep ji. Good afternoon, Prem Raji. A very happy Father's Day to all. So till the time our friends join. Let me give you a little insight about Optatax. It's a knowledge sharing and a technology platform which had been developed to empower the tax professionals as a whole. What if we say that आप अपनी CA practice को नई ऊंचाइयों पर लेकर जाइए और जो compliance related part है यानी return filing है वो हम पर छोड़ दीजिए. This is the digital era, right? You focus on learning new skills which can help you in your growth and rest leave up to us. Why to figure when we are here, right? आप चिंता मत करिए, हम लोग हैं. We started with this initiative 3 years back after receiving the feedback from the professionals across India and working on their problems. And you will be astonished to hear that it is now empowering 50,000 plus tax professionals. They are now able to focus on aspects like litigation, practice management, etc., and leaving the compliance part onto us. I can really go on and can influence you to start using Optatax today, but I won't do that injustice to today's faculty. So if you want to know more details, I'll just start the offer for you and you can click on it and get the same about on your mail ID. Now it's the time when I would like to give the dice to our guest of honor for today. A big round of a virtual applause to CA Anuj Goyal sir. In a very brief introduction, he is the Central Council member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. With his 14 years in council, 3 years in regional council, 6 years in branch, he contributed immensely in the various capacities. Presently, he is chairman of the research committee, the oldest committee of ICAI, and capital markets and investors protection committee of ICAI. He is also a vice chairman of corporate laws and corporate governance committee. With exemplary academics, he possesses CA, CS, CMA, ICWA, LLB, MCOM, DISA, and DIRM. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. So nice, Tanya ji.
So, want to share something with that?
Yeah. Thank you, CA Tanya Gupta ji, our technology expert and convener of this very important webinar on burning issues in input tax credit. And I compliment Optotax, who is really doing a great service to the nation by having this great GST platform. We are having the presence of my brother, CA Vineet Rathi ji, young and dynamic leader of the profession from Ghaziabad, our Honorable Sikasa Chairman. So I welcome CA Vineet Rathi ji and CA Tanya Gupta ji, and all our honorable viewers from each and every part of the country. I welcome all of you, and that shows the dedication and devotion that on this Sunday afternoon, all of us are eager to learn. That shows our commitment for the cause of the profession, and I think this is the beauty of the professionals. This is the beauty of the chartered accountants. A lot number of students are also there. Tanya ji?
So basically, it will be for chartered accountants and tax professionals.
Yeah, so lot number of chartered accountants and tax professionals are there. So I once again welcome all of you, and we are having very important topic, input tax credit, and young and dynamic leader CA Vineet Rathi ji is very proactive and is contributing like anything. And I am quite confident that after his deliberation on this very important topic for the profession, we will certainly update our knowledge. As in this time of Corona crisis, I think by way of knowledge updation, we can convert this threat into an opportunity, not only for ourselves, but also for the trade and industry too we will be serving, and also for the profession, and in turn for the nation. And through that, Tanya ji and Vineet ji, we can be away from negative thoughts and negative news, which is there everywhere, whether it is electronic media or news channel. So I compliment all of you that you are ready to convert this threat of Corona pandemic into an opportunity by knowledge of this. So very warm welcome to all our learned professional colleagues, and I am quite hopeful that everyone is safe and sound at their places in this time of Corona pandemic, when technical excellence and adherence to high ethical standards have always been pillars for the growth and development of our profession. They have a major role to play in ensuring a healthy and transparent economy. So our chartered accountants are trying our level best to see that how this latest reform of the independent India, one nation, one tax, the GST reform, how it can be implemented in a very successful manner. So the chartered accountants are really proving themselves the real partner in nation building, because unless until there is very active contribution of the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Vineet ji, it was very difficult, rather impossible, to have implemented this GST legislation, because there were n number of changes on day-to-day basis, and it was very difficult to cope up with all the changes, to update ourselves with all the changes, and to implement those changes, and to disseminate that knowledge to the trade and industry, and ultimately to the users. So I am delighted by the efforts of our organizers of ProTax, the GST platform, which is really doing very good work for the cause of the trade and industry, for the cause of the profession, for the cause of the nation. And I think the emerging practical issues in input tax credit, we are having the best of the resource persons, CA Vineet Rathi ji, who is an expert on indirect taxes, particularly the GST legislation. Friend, this GST regime is going to complete almost 4 years now. GST was introduced, Tanya ji, as the biggest tax reform, as one nation, one tax. All of us are well aware that the initial period was very stressful, not only for the chartered accountant, not only for the tax professionals, but also for the trade, government, businessmen, and professionals like us too. But over a period of time, it has stabilized to be a large extent, and through many issues are still unresolved. And the taxation regime plays an important role in accelerating the economic development of the country. With the GST journey on the move, the government has been proactively involved in resolving issues faced by the Indian taxpayers. It has been a roller coaster ride for the government, industries, and consumers due to the number of changes and reforms introduced in the past 3-4 years. Friends, input tax credit is the heart of GST. The input tax credit mechanism has a legacy from excise, VAT, and service tax. GST law has added its own flavor with lot of spice in it. Thus, there are several dimensions and issues which are to be resolved for smooth functioning of GST law. The act, which aimed to simplify the taxation process, has evolved over time to address the footishes or in its path by rationalizing the rate structure, further simplification of compliance norms, ease of doing business, and addressing the anomalies in the provisions by issuing requisite notifications, circulars as and when required. And I am quite confident that when we will be having the deliberation of our honorable guest speaker, Vineet Rathi ji, we all will be knowledgeable in our and we will be in a position to contribute in a best possible manner in this GST regime. I will not be taking your further time, as we are very, very eager to hear our honorable learned speaker, CA Vineet Rathi ji, our honorable SICASA chairman, and who is going to take this very, very important topics, burning issues in input tax credit. And once again compliment CA Tanya Gupta ji, technology expert and the convener, and the OptoTax group for organizing, for being very, very active in organizing very, very good webinars for the cause of the profession, for the cause of the members, for the cause of the tax experts. So I wish stay safe, stay healthy, best wishes, happy learning, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. They really, really means a lot. OptoTax, with the support of CA Anuj Goyal, sir, and other council members of ICI, will keep on serving the community of esteemed finance professionals by making their professional life much simpler by creating a platform where knowledge and technology will go hand in hand. And now, I would like to call upon a very humble, generous CA Vineet Rathi, sir. CA Vineet Rathi is a fellow member of ICAI. He is practicing as chartered accountant and is senior partner of Messrs. Vineet Rathi and Associates. He is a member of managing committee of ICAI Ghaziabad branch for the period 2019-22 and was member of managing committee of ICAI Ghaziabad branch for the period 2016-2019 as well. He has been appointed as Secretary, SICASA Chairman and Treasurer of ICI Ghaziabad branch for the term 2018-19, 17-18, 2016-17 respectively. At present, he is a SICASA Chairman of ICI Ghaziabad. He was former visiting faculty of CA Institute of Indirect Taxes for CA final students. He has also been faculty of Orientation and General Management and Communication classes at ICAI and ICSI level. He has provided lectures on indirect taxes in various government, private organizations, colleges, universities, ICAI, ICSI, and ICMI. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Tanya ji. And I'm thankful to OptoTax Rajat Bhai for providing me this opportunity to share my experience and my views on the burning issues on the input tax credit. And I am feeling very proud and obligated that I am speaking before our mentor, Sri Anuj Goyal sir, who is really a wonderful personality, and he is doing wonders since his academic area when he was completing his chartered accountancy course. With this, he has number of degrees. When you will see his visiting card, it is real. That visiting card is in itself, it's so motivational for anyone, for a youngster. So very, very, very thankful to you, Anuj sir, for your gracious presence here and for your motivational words. So I am not prepared any PPT for this because it is not going to be a one-way communication. We will have the session interactive, and I will request everyone to please use your chat box because I will ask the query to you so that the session can be interactive. Of course, in a physical seminar, the situations are different, but in a webinar, it is somehow difficult. But OptoTax is already doing wonders and has provided a very good platform here to discuss our views on ITC. Maybe some of the members, some of the participants may not be agree with me. So feel free, whatever your opinion is on the matter, which I will ask to you, because learning is a continuous process. I will also learn from you. So we will have some case study on the GST. We will discuss some case laws as well. We will discuss the relevant sections. Burning issue. Why ITC is burning issue? You know, when the GST was implemented, one of the major object of the GST implementation was seamless flow of credit. No hurdle shall be there while claiming the credit. But we are witnessing that since the day the GST law is implemented, we are facing many issues in claiming ITC. There are many disputes. So that's why even after 4 years of implementation, it is still a burning issue, because there are so many litigation. Client says something, department listens something, circular says something, court says something. So there are a lot of litigations in this. We were hoping that after the GST litigation somehow at manifold it will be drastically reduced, but it is not the case. Rather, we are seeing that each and every time on day-to-day basis there are a lot of circulars, notification, different case, advanced rulings. Very important part on in the GST law, the advanced rulings, they are coming on day-to-day basis. So anyways, we will start our discussion with the question to you. I am putting a question to you, whether 2A or 2B. Earlier there was 2A only, but now there are two things, 2A and 2B. My question to you is whether these are necessary or whether these are relevant to follow. I would like to have your answers in the chat box, please, so that I can understand your knowledge, understand your perspective also, and can deliberate accordingly, and we will discuss the things accordingly. So my question is, 2A, 2B is necessary or relevant? Please use your chat box and answer it. Not necessary. Ashish Miklani is saying not necessary. Any other person? It is only for referral. Okay. Manish is saying yes. I think no. 2B monthly, sir. Final is 2A. Necessary, not so relevant. No. So majority answer is coming as no. Right. But still, you will see that the 3B, the auto-populate figure of ITC is being taken from the 2B. And we are saying that 2A or 2B is not relevant. So meaning thereby there is something which is under dispute, right? Is it necessary? Is it not necessary? We will discuss now it in detail. My question, I will take an example. See, I am sitting at UP, right? And you are sitting at Delhi, let's say. I have supplied some goods to you. I have raised invoice to you, tax invoice to you. I have furnished my GSTR 1. But what happened is, while filing my GSTR 9, I have by mistaken written your GST number wrongly, right? So what will happen now? Will you get that ITC in your 2A? Will you get this in your 2A? If my GSTR 1 is, your GST number is entered as incorrect in my GSTR 1, so whether it will reflect in your 2A or 2B? Please answer. Will it reflect in your 2A or 2B? No. Right. It will not reflect, of course. Now, you say whether as a buyer, will you be able to take the ITC of that? Will you be able to take input tax credit of that? Being a recipient of that goods, you have received the goods, you have received the tax invoice. So my question to you is whether you will be able to take the ITC. Major answer is coming as no. But before it, we observed that majority of the participants were saying that 2A 2B is relevant, right? But if now majority answers are coming that no, we cannot take the ITC. So meaning thereby there is some dilemma. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no, and that's why this is the burning issue of the ITC as on date, because the situations are not that clear. But I hope with our discussion today things will be cleared. But it is, of course, definitely, see, there are two things. Law is different, and there is one more thing, that is GST portal. Because our practical returns are getting filed, our 2A 2B are getting managed to the GSTN portal. Many times we will see that GS law is saying something different, but the portal is behaving something different. So that this is the reason, just because of these mismatch in these two things, we are facing some problem. Now, what are the conditions for taking the input tax credit? I think you all are aware that there are 4 conditions, right? There are 4 conditions. What are the conditions? First, you must have the tax invoice or debit note for claiming the ITC. First condition. Second condition, you must have received the goods or services. Third condition is supplier has paid the taxes. And this is the thing which is really very difficult for me to know. Now, of course, after the entering of 2A or 2B, there may be something which you can know. But before 2019, it was not possible for me to know whether supplier has paid on this transaction to the government or not. I was not only me, but department was also not in a position to ascertain whether GST has been paid to the government on this transaction. So this was the third condition. And last condition is the fourth condition. What is the condition? That returns shall be filed regularly. Return shall be filed regularly. So now my question to you is, this four condition about filing of return, it is talking about whom? Either supplier or recipient for claiming the ITC. The fourth condition is saying return shall be filed regularly. Who shall file returns regularly? Either supplier or recipient. Please answer in the chat box. Recipient. Ashish is saying recipient. Thank you, Ashish, for being so interactive. Waiting for answer from other participants also. Recipient, supplier, to recipient, to supplier. Okay. Inder saying both. Okay. Okay. We are having again mixing up of answer. So for the clarity, in this fourth condition of subsection 60, subsection 2 of section 16, it is mandatory for the buyer to file the return regularly for claiming ITC, right? You are having tax invoice, the supplier has paid the taxes, you have received the goods, but if you do not file your GSTR 3B, well, will you be able to take the ITC? No, supplier is filing the return, but you are not filing. So if you will not file the return, how you will be able to take the ITC? So in this fourth condition, this condition is for recipient, not the supplier. Hope I am clear on this point now. Right now, very important amendment recently in the Finance Bill 2021, through the clause number 100 of this Finance Bill, a new subclause has been inserted, that is clause AA under subsection 2 of section 16. What does it say? It says supplier shall furnish the tax invoice details or debit note details in his GSTR 1, and the same shall be communicated to the buyer. This is the amendment which has been made recently by the Finance Bill. Now, what will happen now? What will happen now? Am I able, because I'm getting a message that voice getting disconnected. Are you able to listen me? Tanya ji, am I audible properly?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So please let me know when you feel that the things are not getting correct, then please let me know.
No, nothing like that.
So now this amendment has been made to the Finance Act, but this is notified yet or not? This subclause has been made applicable or not? Please answer whether this amendment which says that supplier shall furnish the tax invoice detail or debit note details in the GSTR 1. So is it applicable as of now or no? Not notified. No. Great. You all are very learned. I must compliment and appreciate you all. Yes, this amendment has not yet been notified, meaning thereby this condition is still not applicable. This is not necessary for a buyer to claim ITC that their supplier shall furnish the invoice in his GSTR 1. It's not yet become compulsory. So meaning thereby, what we are learning from this, what we are learning, whether 2A is relevant, 2B is relevant or not. Are you getting me? Please answer. 2A, now you please answer after listening this thing, whether 2A or 2B is relevant. We will discuss some more case study also. We will do some more case studies. But as of now, are you getting me? Whether the 2A, 2B is relevant? Please answer. Divya is saying that yes, it is relevant. Okay. Still I'm getting a mix up of answer, yes, no. So the people who are saying yes, may please raise your point, raise your view, why it is relevant. We will discuss some more case study, of course, then we will see some more clarity on this. Now there is a rule 36 sub rule 4 in the CGST rules. A capping has been made on the ITC. A capping has been done. What is the capping? The capping is that you cannot claim the input tax credit if it is exceeding. Earlier it was 20% from 9th October 2019. On 1st January 20, the limit has been capped up to 10%, and from 1st January 2021 the capping has been limited to the 5%, right? So we cannot, what does it mean? It means that we cannot claim the ITC more than 5%, which is reflecting in our GSTR 2A. This is sub rule 4 of rule 36. But where in the act, see, rules are subordinate to sections. Law rule must be read with the section. If section is saying nothing, if section is silent on any capping, on any written issue, while mentioning the condition for claiming ITC, then do you think that this rule will be compulsory on the buyer to follow, on the recipient to follow to claim the ITC? No. My answer is, my humble view is no. Meaning thereby this rule 36 sub rule 4 is ultra virus of the act. Why? Because the amendment which has been made through the Finance Act 2020-21 is not yet notified. See, once it is notified, then we can say, okay, that this rule 36 sub rule 4 shall be checked with the section 16 subsection 2 subclause AA. But till the time it is not yet notified, meaning thereby this rule is overriding the act, and any rule which if will overriding that will be unconstitutional, then there is no harm to the buyer. But the problem is, as I said, there are two things. One is law, another is portal. Portal is behaving something different. If you will see in your ITC, in your 2A or 2B, ITC is coming as 1 lakh rupees, right? But as per actual your books of account, I assume that you have complied all the 4 conditions and you are having 1,50,000 ITC in the books of accounts. Now portal says, rule 36 4 says you must claim the ITC. How much amount? 1 lakh as per 2A, 1,50,000 is as per the books. Please answer me, how much ITC you can claim in your GSTR 3B? Please answer. I hope you have got the question. 1 lakh is in 2A, 2B, and as per books it's 1,50,000. How much you can claim? Either 1 lakh you shall claim, or 1,50,000 you shall claim, or there is something different. Shripati ji say it is 1,05,000. Okay, 1,05,000, 1,05,000, 1 lakh, 1,05,000. Okay, we are getting again mix up of answers. See, as per rule 36 sub rule 4, it says you can claim 5% extra as compared to the amount which is getting reflected in the 2A. In 2A it is 1 lakh. 5% of 1 lakh is 1,05,000, right? So there is a capping limit. You cannot claim the credit as per this sub rule 36 sub rule 4. You cannot claim the credit more than rupees 1,05,000, right? This is as per rule, and we have discussed that this rule is ultra virus. In your 3B, the ITC will be reflected as 1 lakh only in the 3B, but you can definitely make the amendments in the GSTR 3B. You can amend this amount. In my personal view, you shall claim 1,50,000 if you have complied with all the 4 conditions. Notice can be issued, but you have completely the legal right to litigate the issue. You have very strong case, very strong case. You are here, right? So with the discussion, what we have seen, 2 and 2B is not that relevant. Rule 36 sub rule 4, which is limiting the ITC up to 5%, 105% only of the amount which is reflecting into is ultra virus of the act. And when something is ultra virus of the act, then how shall that be followed? But department is always litigating. Department will say, no, you cannot claim the 1,50,000. You shall claim only 1,05,000 maximum, right? So this is the issue which we are facing. Thank you, Inder. Right, sir, he's saying it means, yeah, I think you are going with me. Are you agreeing with me that 2A, 2B is not relevant? Please answer. 2A, 2 is be relevant or not? With the discussion what we have gone through yet. We have gone through it legally also. Section 16, subsection 2, subclause A has been inserted but not yet notified. 36(4) is limiting, but nothing is in the act. So are you saying that relevant or not? Yes. Not. Okay, not relevant. Right. So majority is saying that not relevant. Great. Now, litigation is there. As I said earlier, that with the implementation of GST, we thought that litigation will be reduced, but it is not the case. We can see that litigation is on higher side. Nevertheless, litigation is a part and parcel of our profession. It is good or not, I don't know, but yes, till we are right as per law, we have the entire right, and we shall do the litigate the matter. Why we shall avoid our credit? Why shall I claim only 1,05,000 if I'm eligible for 1,50,000? So this is the case. I think this is the case. Now, with this COVID period, for the information, we have to either I do not agree that rule 36 sub rule 4 shall be complied with, but the people who are following it, there is some amendment to them. For the month of April, May and June 2021, there is no need to comply with the rule 36 sub rule 4 on monthly basis, right? You can do all the 3 months compliance in the month of June return, right? So for April, May or June, you can comply with the rule 36 sub rule 4 in the month of June return only, right? If claim and notified in future retrospective, then Vijay is saying, okay. So now we are moving further to our second case study. Please listen, please see carefully. Your doubt will be more cleared that 2A 2B is not relevant. Your doubt will be more clear with this case study. See, I am sitting at UP and you are sitting at Delhi. Which type of transaction this is? This is interstate supply, right? Interstate supply. But what happened? That instead of interstate supply, my GST supplier has mentioned it as C plus S supply, central GST and state GST, right? That the supplier has done the mistake in this GSTR1, but he has paid the taxes. He has filed the return, but somehow he has mistaken in reporting it to the government. This is the only part. Now, whether this will appear in your 2A, yes, it will appear in your 2A, but how? It will appear as C GST and SGST, but not IGST. What is your fault as a recipient in this? Is it your fault? Now, what you will claim? Either CGST, SGST or IGST. What you shall claim? Please answer. Either you shall claim CGST, SGST or IGST. In your 2A, it is CGST, SGST, but as per the transaction, it is IGST. What you shall claim? IGST or CGST? Ashish is saying IGST. Okay. Other participants, please. IGST. Okay. IGST. Now all have answered it IGST. I think now you are in flow with me. See, if in 2A it is being entered as CGST and SGST, then, and we are saying that yes, IGST shall be claimed, then how 2B is relevant? How 2 and 2B is relevant? You please say, please think. 2 in 2A 2B, if let's say 2A and 2B is relevant, then we should have claimed CGST, SGST, but all are saying that we shall claim IGST, right? So again, it is clear that 2A and 2B is not relevant. And I have a case law also on this. What is the case law? Madras High Court, in a case Sun Deccan, decided that 2A 2B is not relevant. How they have decided, we will discuss some brief facts. See, while filing the returns of August 17 to December 17, I have made some mistake. As a supplier, I have made some mistake in my GST return. And my buyer is intimating me that mistake in the month of August 2019, right? August 2019. August to December 17, what was the period of the amendment of the return? What was the period for the financial year 17-18? It was 31st March 2019. 31st March 2019. And when I am getting aware, August 2019. So time limit to amend the GST return has been expired. Now what will happen? Shall I be denied of credit? Shall I be denied of credit? I cannot amend the GST return. There is a circular number 26, dated 29th of December 2017, which says GST return revision is not possible, and we all the professionals and all the businessmen are requesting government since long that please give at least a chance to revise that return. It was there in the service tax law. It was there in the respective VAT laws, but why not in GST? We shall be provided the facility of revision, but government and the circular number 26 says revision is not possible. What you can do? You can do the amendment in the data which you have filed in the GST return in the subsequent month, and that too there is a capping limit. That too there is a capping limit. What is the capping limit? The time, there's two limit. The time when you file the return under section 39. And what is the return under section 39? This is GSTR 3. And now you please tell me whether GSTR 3 is applicable as on date since 1st of July 2017. No, not at all. GSTR 2 and GSTR 3 has not been implemented yet. Right? What is the return? GSTR 3B is the return. And government has amended the law when some high courts litigated that, ordered that GSTR 3B is not the return as per the law, because section 37, 38, 39 are the section which talks about the return. 37 is for outward supply, that is GSTR 1. Section 38 is for the inward return, that is GSTR 2, which is not yet been implemented, and same is the case with section 39, which talks about GSTR 3. GSTR 3 is not yet relevant, not yet been notified, not yet been implemented. So what is the fault of the buyer? So the court, the assessee in this case, in the case of Sundakin, went to the department, requested them that please do the needful. I have done all the things right. I have raised my tax invoice correctly. I have paid the taxes to the government correctly. There was some clerical mistake. So please give me chance to revise that. All the facts are to you. And as you know, we all know that the department, whenever we go to the department, what does department say? Nothing is in our hand. All the things will be done by the portal. Please raise the ticket. Please raise the ticket. And you know, we raise the ticket, but what happens? No reply. No reply of the ticket, or ticket get automatically closed without the answering well. So with this, that assessee, after following so much to the department, so much raising tickets to the GSTR portal, then finally assessee went to the High Court, and there High Court said that yes, the case law name is Chakravarti ji Sundakin, Madras High Court, Sundakin Limited. So in this case, High Court insisted, ordered the department to provide the assessee an opportunity to correct that return. Yes, you are right, Santoshji. Gujarat High Court said that GSTR 3B is not being a return, and many High Courts said the same. But government has amended this law that with the retrospective effect, with effect from 1st of July 2017, government said that this GSTR 3B is a monthly return. But this matter is still pending in the Supreme Court, right? So we will see what Honorable Supreme Court will decide on this, right? So High Court said that there shall be given an opportunity to the assessee. Now another example, let's say my tax liability is 1 lakh, and we see at the time of filing the return, at the peak time, at the last date, portal does not work at daytime. I was working at the night. Visibility was not clear. I was in bit confusion or some other work. So instead of 1 lakh liability, I keep putting on 00000, and when the return was filed, my liability instead of 1 lakh was reported as 100 crore rupees. 100 crore. Now even I immediately got this thing in my mind that this return got filed incorrectly. So what I will do it correct in next month. I will amend my next month return. But please see, this 100 crore rupees amount is the amount which I cannot correct, which I cannot amend throughout my life. You please answer. Again, a question to you: whether 3B catches the negative figure only, and the liability has been mentioned as 100 crores. Now, if I want to correct the liability, you please tell whether the 3B catches the negative figures. No, Ashish is saying no. 3B does not capture the negative figure. Then how I will amend my return? There is a mistake, there is a genuine mistake, but department immediately came to me कि हमारे area में there is an assessee who is claiming 100 crore rupees of tax liability. Himself he is claiming. Department has given notice to me. I am saying department that I was working at night. There is some clerical mistake. So please give me a chance to correct the return. But the government says no, we cannot give you a chance to amend the return because nothing is law. You can only amend. But when I am saying that okay, I will amend the return. But please make ensure that the 3B catches the negative figure. Negative figure does not catch the negative figure. 3B does not catch the negative figure. Then how I will amend the return? So even government has provided me the facility to amend the return. But again, the thing, as I said earlier, law says something different and portal behaves something different. This is again another case on this. Right. So again, so this was again an issue. We cannot revise the return, we can amend, but how can we amend the return? 3B does not, my liability has been reported by 3B, and now 3B will not give me a chance to revise the return or to amend the figures. So this is the case. This is the portal which is somehow misbehaved. Anyways, now I hope you are clear with me that you are with me whether 2A 2B is relevant. We can see from this. If let's say if 2A and 2B is relevant, so shall I get credit of 1 lakh rupees or 100 crore rupees? 1 lakh rupees or 100 crore rupees? I will get the credit of 1 lakh only, not of 100 crore rupees. Even it is appearing in my 2A. So that's the thing that's why I am saying that 2A and 2B is not relevant. Now we will take another case study. No problem. We will get it more clear. Now, till in 2 case study, we find that supplier has made mistake in filing his GST return. Now, vice versa can be there. There are many situations. We have witnessed many cases where instead of supplier, buyer has claimed the return ITC by mistake, incorrectly. For example, I have credit of CGST and SGST of rupees 50,000 plus 50,000. Total 1 lakh credit I am having. But while filing my 3B, by mistake, what I have done? I have taken the credit in the head of IGST instead of CGST and SGST. Now again, in 2A it is appearing as CGST, SGST. But I am claiming it as IGST. Now there is no mistake of supplier. What will be happen now? What will happen now? I have done the mistake. I have done the mistake. And please note, all the supply which I am taking from the supply is only and only intrastate. I am not taking any interstate supply. So how can I amend it next time? IGST figure will not be captured in negative. Of course, CGST, SGST, I will file as 50,000, 50,000. I can do this in next month return because law provided me the opportunity. But in IGST, how the figure will be negative? And till the time this return will not be corrected, IGST will keep going in my credit ledger. It will be reflecting in my credit ledger as rupees 1 lakh. Of course, I have corrected CGST, SGST, but IGST is 1 lakh rupees. Now, what department will say? Whether department will give me the credit of IGST. And one more thing can be there. Let's say I am coming to know this fact after the expiry of the time, which is being provided in the law to amend the returns. I am coming to know this fact after expiring of that return. Now what will be the case? For example, the last date for 2020-21 to correct the return is written for the month of September or GST 9, whichever is earlier. In most of the practical cases, we do not file the GST return in the month of September because government has already provided me with the extension, right? No problem. And as you know, the tax audit limit or the audit limit as per the relevant income tax or company law has also been extended. In tax audit, the last date was extended. So while conducting the audit, the auditor told me that you have made the mistake. But what will happen now? The time limit is expired to amend the return. Now what will happen? Now there can be two options. Ashish is saying, sir, there was notification and negative fare were to accept, but still not implemented. Yes, Ashish, you are absolutely right. I am with you. That's what I am saying, that law is different and portal is behaving different. Now, in this case, there will be two options. GSTR 9, a department will say IGST will not be claimed because time limit has been expired. You cannot claim the credit now. But there is another option. Yes, of course, it will be prone to the litigation, but you can take the help of that. You know, there is a return that is GSTR 9. You can do correct this mistake at the filing of GSTR 9. What you will do, see, in table 6, the figures of ITC gets auto-populated through the GSTR 3B, right? In that case, IGST, there will be IGST of rupees 1 lakh instead of CGST, SGST 50,000, 50,000. Now, what you will do? You are having an option. See, you will have to provide the liability as input services and capital goods. So what you will do, you can do mention the figures in the CGST and SGST as 50,000, 50,000, and in the IGST you mention it as zero. Now, this figure shall be met with table number 8 of GSTR 9. So in supplier was not committed any mistake, right? So in GSTR table number 8, this figure will automatically be matched, because in that table 8 auto populate, which has been auto populated through the GSTR of supplier, CGST and SGST will be appearing 50,000, 50,000. There will be no tax in the IGST. And in the table number 6, I have already corrected this thing, that 50,000 CGST, 50,000 SGST. This mistake will automatically be corrected, and table number 8 will also be matched. But there can be a litigation, but you shall be ready to do the litigation. One more thing is there in this case. Interest liability. You have claimed IGST, but you were supposed to claim CGST, SGST. Now in GSTR 9, you are amending this in the month of September 19. So whether interest will be charged? My question to you, interest shall be charged in this case? Yes or no? Please answer. Whether, please answer, interest shall be charged in this case or not? Ashish is saying no. Aditya is saying yes. Manmohan is saying no. So again, there is mix up of answer, no and yes. In my humble opinion, interest shall not be charged. Why it shall not be charged? Because there was a genuine mistake. I was genuinely eligible. I was eligible genuinely to claim the ITC. There was different bucket. I had 3 buckets: CGST, SGST, and IGST. Instead of putting it in CGST, SGST, I have put it in IGST column. This is the mistake. Now, this was the clerical mistake. So what will happen now? Interest shall not be paid, in my humble opinion. No interest shall be paid. Because there is a very, very right, Ashish, you have said, there is no revenue loss to the government. No revenue loss. So interest shall not be paid, in my view. You can litigate the matter perfectly because government has received its revenue. There is no revenue loss. Why interest shall be charged? Right? So this is the thing. Now, we have corrected in GSTR 3B, but that time expired. Now at the time of filing 9 and 9C, I have corrected it. But now time limit of GSTR 9 and 9C is also expired. Now what will happen? IGST galat head mein hai. CGS, instead of CGST, SGST, in your credit ledger, the amount is appearing in IGST. Now what will happen? Because time limit to correct 9 and 9C has also expired. In my opinion, you shall do one thing. In current tax period, you shall amend the mistake. You shall amend the mistake and you shall intimate to the department that in that particular tax period, there was a genuine and clerical mistake. Now in this current tax period, the current 3B, we have corrected it, and this is the letter of intimation to you with the document or details which you can give and intimate it. Yes, there can be a litigation, but you have to face this, right? One more thing can be done in this case. Refund can be taken. What you can do, you can pay the taxes again and you can claim the refund, right? You can claim the refund. But as we all know, taking a refund from the government, I think all have witnessed how difficult it is to claim the refund. Of course, the process is automatic. You do not need to go anywhere, but still you know how difficult it is to claim. So what we have seen again, that two-way and two-way is not relevant at all. Thank you, Singh Saab, for appreciating. I hope you are with me now. Now I will answer. Two-way, two-way is relevant. Still, we have discussed 3 case studies. Two-way and two-way is relevant. Please answer. Two-way and two-way is relevant. I'm not getting the answer. Not relevant. Inda is saying not relevant. Practically impossible to get the refund. Absolutely. Not at all. No. Not relevant. Okay. That's now you have connected with the Vineet Rathi. Now that's the importance of this discussion. That's why I said that I will do the discussion. I will not keep it one-way communication. Now you all are syncing with Vineet Rathi. That's fine enough. Thank you so much. We will take another case study, 4th case study. We will take now. Please listen carefully. In GSTR 1, I have a tax liability in a particular month of rupees 50,000, right? Or 50,000 only. But in that, while filing the GSTR 1, I have declared my tax liability as rupees 1 lakh by mistake, right? By mistake. Now, in my 2A, what amount will appear? 50,000 or 1 lakh? What amount will appear? Please answer. 50,000 or 1 lakh? In 2A, what amount will appear? 50,000 or 1 lakh? I have purchased the goods of rupees 50,000. I paid the tax of rupees 50,000, but supplier has done some mistakes, and in my 2A, now what amount will appear? 50,000 or 1 lakh? 1 lakh. Okay. 1 lakh. Right. Ashish ji, very right. Santosh ji, very right. Saloni ji, very right. 1 lakh. Okay, fine. 1 lakh will appear. Now, what amount shall I claim? 50,000 or 1 lakh? 1 lakh will appear in 2A. That is fine enough. All are agreed with this. Now my question is, what amount shall I claim as input tax credit in my GST return? 1 lakh or 50,000? Arup Bhattacharya ji is saying 50,000. Ashish ji is saying 50,000. Shubhangi 50. Okay. Great. All are saying 50,000. Yes. So now you please tell, if in my 2A appearing it as 1 lakh, and you all are now saying that 50,000 shall be claimed. So again, it is again a case that 2A 2B is not relevant at all. Not relevant at all. You all are saying 50,000. Great. Thank you so much. 50,000 shall be claimed. Now, again, there is a very, very important and very, very dangerous amendment in this finance bill itself, 2020-21. There is section 75, subsection 12. One explanation was inserted in this. What was the section? What was the explanation? It says, whatever tax liability you are declaring in your GST returns, whatever tax liability you are declaring in your GST returns will be collected as self-assessment tax. Will be collected as self-assessment tax. Now, please appreciate, the liability was 50,000. And important thing of this amendment is department can start recovery proceeding even without giving you a show cause notice, because you have filed, you yourself filed your return and you have accepted your liability as 1 lakh, while in fact the liability was 1 lakh. So department can start recovery proceedings even without giving you the notice. See the law, the draconian law. Is it right? Should I have not been provided an opportunity of being here? Am I also human? I am not the God. There can be mistakes with the client. As a chartered accountant, as a tax practitioner, I can do the mistake. My staff can do the clerical error. Still, you are saying that we will start the recovery proceeding. We can freeze your account. We can freeze your assets. We can freeze your ITC even without giving me the opportunity. Shall it be the law? Shall it be the law? I went to the department. I asked the officer, Sir, what is this? At least an opportunity of being here shall be provided. Us as officer saying, no, we cannot do anything. Then what is the option to me? What is the option to me? He has asked me that please provide us a solution. You are always come to us. The officer saying you always come to us with the problem. This is not good. This is not correct. This is not well. So please give the solution. Why you always give the problems? Please give the solutions also. So my solution, my humble solution is, okay, my mistake was there, right? You have provided me an opportunity to amend the returns, right? So please wait at least up to the time of amendment. I am filing the return of the month of May 21. I have declared my tax liability as 1 lakh. In 3B, I have mentioned it as 50,000. I have paid the 50,000. But in the month of June, you are coming to me with the recovery proceeding. Immediately in the next month, you are coming to me as per the law, which you have amended. Shall it be like this? No. My humble opinion, it shall not be like this. Department, I have humbly asked and requested the officer that, sir, please wait till we amend the returns. At least please wait till the time which is itself given by the law. Please wait. After, if I do not amend, then of course there is my mistake. Then you can come to me with for the recovery process. But my humble mistake is still that you shall give me a show cause notice. You shall provide me an opportunity to keep my facts also, to keep my plea also. So this is the way the law has been drafted. Now I will discuss a case law also. You can please note it down. The case law, a very good decision being given by the Gujarat High Court. Gujarat High Court is an honorable High Court. Many times we have seen such a very important, very crucial decision by the Gujarat High Courts. Very helpful to the assessees, to the businessmen. There is a case of Deepak Print. Deepak Print is a case law. Deepak, what is the mistake by the Deepak Print? Deepak Print is a Deepak Print, and it also having a sister concern. Deepak Print is also having a sister concern. Now, while filing the return of itself of the Deepak Print, what Deepak Print has done? Deepak Print liability was 5 lakh only, right? 5 lakh liability was of the Deepak Print. But by mistake, Deepak Print has included 10 lakh liability of the sister concern, if his associate concern, in its return. 10 lakh liability was there of that sister concern. So 5 lakh is my liability, 10 lakh is his liability, which by mistake I have included in my return. So I have declared my liability as 15 lakh. My liability is 15 lakh. And the time limit to amend the 3B is expired. And as you know, 3B cannot expire because officer will say, no, we cannot give you the right to revise the return because it is being prohibited in the law. You please raise the ticket at the GSTN portal, and GSTN portal as usually automatically close the ticket without the solution. This is the thing which is happening. Now this Gujarat High Court issued ordered the department to give the assessee an opportunity to make the amendment, to revise the return. And the irony is 3B not accept the negative refund. Let's say I do not have any tax liability in further months after this mistake. How I will correct the mistake? Because 3B does not capture the negative figure. Then how the mistake will be done? Mistake will be corrected. You please answer. I will not be able to correct that. In the portal, the liability will still prevail as 15 lakh, while in fact the liability was 5 lakh only. So this is the case which is happening. So we are thankful to the High Court that in Deepak Print, Gujarat High Court benefited the assessee. That okay, no problem is there. So in this case, buyer, what the buyer will claim? 5 lakh or 15 lakh? 5 lakh or 15 lakh? Yes, Ashish, in Bharti Airtel, again, this is the case this is the decision given by the honorable High Courts. Many High Courts have given the decision in the favor of buyers because buyer was not at the fault at all. Yes, a clerical mistake can be there, but my intention was not to cheat the department, to not make the revenue loss to the government. Yes, all are saying that I shall claim 5 lakh only as ITC, not 15 lakh. Right, Shubhangi ji, right, Swapna ji, Rohit ji, you all are right. You all are absolutely correct. 5 lakh we shall claim. Now again with the case study, we have make it clear that what 2A and 2B is not relevant. Again, this case study has proven that 2A and 2B is not right. Now, I will come to the next case study, next burning issue. Please listen it very, very carefully. Supplier has issued the invoice of rupees 10 lakh to me. 10 lakh was the supply amount and the IGST was 1.8 lakh rupees, right? I have make the payment to the supplier. I have make payment 10 lakh rupees plus 1.8 lakh rupees, total 11 lakh 80,000 rupees. I have make the payment to the supplier, but supplier did not deposit to the tax to the government. Supplier did not pay the tax to the government. What was the fault of the buyer? Please tell me. Was there any fault of buyer? I have purchased bona fidely. I have made the entire payment of supplies as well as of tax bona fidely to the recipient. Then how can I do this correction mistake? There is no mistake at all to me. Then still I am the fault. Department is coming to me. But please appreciate that this issue is not a new issue. It was prevailing in the pre-GST era also. In central excise also there was a mistake. Department was not giving the credit to the assessee because the supplier has not paid the taxes. So department has come to me and disallow me the credit. Why? Because supplier has not paid the tax. I have requested, I have submitted my facts to the department that my purchase is genuine. I have received the goods. I have paid the entire payment along with tax to the supplier. It was the pre-GST era case. But Supreme Court, very, very important case law, KK Industry Limited. KK Industry Limited, Supreme Court, landmark judgment. Supreme Court said that no denial can be given to the buyer. Buyer shall not be denied to take the credit. How department can deny the credit to the buyer if the buyer is not at fault? Absolutely, the very good judgment by the Honorable Supreme Court. The things I am trying to say is, please do not fear, do not hesitate. There will be litigation. Of course, there will be litigation. You may have go to the tribunal, you may have go to the commission appeal, you may even have go to the High Court or Supreme Court, but law prevails. Justice will prevail for sure. Yes, sir, Ashish, department is asking to do the impossible. Yes, that GST compliance has become mission impossible. But please do not fear. Have patience, because GST law will learn you the patience. Very important, very, very landmark judgment again. This was not the case of excise, but this was the case of DVAT, Delhi VAT law. You may all have listened this Arise India. Yes, Manmohan ji, absolutely right. This the case I am talking about is Arise India. Very good judgment it was. In this is also the same facts. Supplier has not paid the taxes. DVAT department has denied the credit to the buyer. But in this case of Arise India, Delhi High Court said, you cannot deny the credit to the buyer. Buyer will be able to take the ITC. Maximum High Court. You please appreciate that Maximum High Court never denied the credit to the buyer. All were in the favor of the assessee, except Bombay High Court case in Mahalakshmi Cotton Mills. Bombay High Court denied the credit that yes, department can deny the credit to the buyer, but it's not the case. It shall not be the case. Ramlingam is saying, okay, you are saying have to take book ITC while 4 conditions set. Yes, Ramlingam ji, absolutely. Please appreciate that if you have fulfilled the 4 conditions and you have all the facts in your hands, you have all the tax paying document, tax invoices, debit note, you shall claim the full ITC, because 36(4) is still it is still ultra virus. In my opinion, you shall claim the entire ITC and do the litigate the matter. Department is absolutely will issue the notice, but there is again appellate authority to you. Courts are there, High Court, Honorable High Court, and Supreme Courts are there to listen. So don't worry at all. If you are right, then please stay tuned with your facts. No problem is there. So one of the 4 condition of section 16 subsection 2 was that supplier has paid the taxes. Okay. Now there is 2A. I can ensure that supplier has made the payment of taxes or not. But what about 2A? What about the situation when 2A was not there? Because 2A has started working from January or February 2019. Then from 1st of July 2017 to December, August 2018, how can I supposed to know that whether supplier has paid the taxes? I am not the god. Even department was not aware whether the suppliers paid the taxes to me or not, to the government or not. Then how can you bound the duty on the buyer to ensure that suppliers paid the taxes? Not possible. I cannot do the business. If I will keep doing this. It will not be difficult. It will not be easy at all to me to comply with all these things. You do your own work. You go to the supplier, you issue notice to him that please pay us the taxes. Why buyer is being denied the credit at the fault of supplier? No, it shall not be like this. Now, Madurai bench, Madras High Court, again a very important case law. DY Bethel Enterprises, Madurai bench, Madras High Court. Department come to the buyer that supplier has not paid the taxes, so please pay the tax. Department come to the supplier, and I replied to the government that my purchase is genuine, my purchase is bona fide, absolutely. You can check my stock, you can check my further tax invoices. I have made the billing to the further my suppliers. You can check that. If there is a bank statement, I have made the payment to the supplier along with the GST. You can check the supplier statement. But the irony is, you are not going to the supplier. You are directly coming to me to deny me the ITC. Isn't your responsibility? Do you not have any power to go to the supplier? Do you not have power? You do not have adjudication of to ask the supplier to pay the taxes. Why you are coming to me directly? So in DY Bethel Enterprises, Madras High Court given the judgment in the favor of the buyer. High Court ordered the department to please collect the tax from the supplier if the buyer is genuine. So this is the very important case, so you can note it down. Ashish, without giving notice to the supplier. Yes, Ashish, this is the irony. This is the unfortunate situation which is being happening in our country. Santosh is asking, sir, also we cannot come to know whether supplier has paid full tax or paid partly in such case. Santosh, now 2A is there. If 2A is, if the tax is not reflected in your 2A, then you can pursue at least pursue your buyer now. After Optotax is providing a mechanism that you can within a click, you can compare your books of account and your 2A. So Optotax is giving this facility, right? So you can now follow the buyer. If the buyer is still not filing his return, not paying the tax, then you can ask the buyer that this tax amount will be adjusted in future payment. You can do this now, right? Repeat the case name. DY Bethel Enterprises, DY Bethel Enterprises, Madras High Court, Madurai bench. Now again another case study. Section 16 subsection 4, we have already discussed. It provides the time limit to amend the return. That is time limit as per section 39, that is September return following the end of the year, right? Or filing of GST 9, whichever is earlier, right? This is the time limit. Recently, not only recently but earlier also, government has given the amnesty scheme to file the return. So all the non-filer who has not filed the return can take the benefit of this amnesty scheme. Amnesty, 43rd GST Council has approved this amnesty scheme. Notification has also been issued, right? What is the amnesty? That non-filer who have not filed the return from the month of July 17 to April 21 can file the return from 1st of June 2021 to 31st of August 2021. Can file the return, no problem is there. Late fees will be there, subsidized late fees, but on what? Only on GSTR 3B. Only on GSTR 3B. There is no amnesty for the GSTR 1, for the GSTR 9, for the GSTR 9C. No amnesty is there. Yes, amnesty is there only for the 3B. And what is the amnesty? Nil. In case you have nil return. Let's say I have taken the registration in the GST, right? But my business was closed. I have not make any single transaction of sale and purchase. But I was not aware of the fact that I was law bound to file a monthly return. I was not aware of the fact. But later on, this came to my knowledge. Oh my God, I forgot to file the returns. Oh my God, what has happened? Now, what I can do, I can file the return. But it is not the case. I can have the transaction as well. This was the case of nil return. But in some cases, in many cases, there can be a transaction. So I was required to file the GSTR1 also, because my buyer will have the credit once only. I will file the GSTR1. But this amnesty scheme has not given any amnesty or any waiver for the filing of GSTR late fees. So what is the late fees? For the nil taxpayer, it is 500. That is 250 rupees CGST, 250 rupees as GST. And for other buyers who have transaction, it is 1000 rupees, 500 CGST and 500 SGST. No amnesty for 1, 9 or 9C. Right. Now my question to you is very important. Please listen very, very carefully, because it is going to be very crucial to all of you. Please listen it very carefully. Suppose this is a return of March 18, which I forgot to file. I have not filed the March 18 return. Right. Now there was some sale transaction, there was some tax liability, as well as I had some ITC. I had some input tax credit. Now my question to you is, please answer whether the period is August 18, and you will appreciate that the time period to amend the return or to claim the ITCs for the financial year 2018-19 was 20th of October 2019 for the August 18. April 18, sorry, March 18. For the March 18, the period was 31st March 2019. For financial year 17-18, the last date to amend the return was 31st March 2019. But today I am coming to know that I have not filed the return. So I have tax liability as well as I have some ITC. Of course, tax I need to pay. My outward liability I need to pay, no doubt. But my question to you is, can I avail the ITC? I have 1 lakh rupees tax liability against which I have 80,000 ITC. So can I avail the ITC? Please answer. Can I avail the ITC? It is very important question, very important, because many of us will file the returns with the benefit of this ITC, with the benefit of this amnesty scheme. No, lapse ITC. Oh my God. Meaning thereby there is entire loss of 80,000 of the buyer, just because of the fact that there may be some mishappening in the house, there may be mishappening with the business, it is lapsed. No one is saying yes, all are going to make the payment of that entire 1 lakh rupees without setting of that 80,000. All are saying no. No one is with me. Okay. Then please listen it very, very carefully. Very carefully. Now I am going to the fact. See, we will see the law. Then we will decide whether we will be able to take the credit or not. Yeah, right. And most of you are saying no. Many are saying no, we cannot avail the credit. Right. But now we will see whether we'll be able to claim it or not. Just please give me a second. I think I have connected with my mobile and the battery is going out. Please give me a second.
So till the time Vinitji is back, don't go anywhere. Stay with us. He's coming back with his session, and he had connected with his mobile phone. Reason being, थोड़ा उनका phone का battery थोड़ा low हो गया है. So just stay with us. It's not over yet. And I could see in the chat box, I guess you all are. I am really seeing people loving the session. This is how the sessions are. This is how we all can interact and connect with each other. You all are using this chat box, the screen which is available to you. Keep using it, keep answering, he's back.
Thank you, Tanya ji, for handling in between. Sorry for the interruption.
No,
so
sir.
please listen carefully. This is going to be very, very important, very, very crucial part of our discussion. I am not saying that it is a part of deliberation. I am saying that it is a part of discussion. Please note, See, there are section 16, subsection 2. What it says, please listen carefully. This is the law. The section 16, subsection 2 starts with an obstant that, notwithstanding anything contained in this act, notwithstanding anything contained in this section, that is section 16, no registered person shall be entitled to avail ITC unless and until it satisfies 4 conditions. Right? Section 16, subsection 2 says this. Now, I have completed all the 4 conditions. I have received the goods. I have received the tax invoices. My supplier has paid the taxes. And I have not filed the return, right? Yes, of course, I have not filed the return. That's why amnesty scheme is there. Now I am filing the return. So if I am satisfying all the 4 conditions, then how you can deny the credit to me? Section 16.4 is also there. Section 16.4 talks about the time limit. Department says, yes, as per 16 subsection 4, you are not able to take the credit. But section 16 subsection 2, please make a note. Please appreciate that subsection 16 subsection 2 override section 16 subsection 4. Legally, section 16 subsection 2 override. Please discussion in Hindi language, Prakash ji is saying. Oh, Prakash ji, I'm so sorry that I forgot to use the Hindi language because I observed that some members, some participants are also there from south side. Tanya ji, please advise how shall I continue in English or shall I take in Hindi?
So it's like we have people across India, so it's better if we could continue in English. A little Hindi you can use in between so that, yeah.
Because I saw some names which belongs to South. That's why I have not used Hindi at all, because there may be some problems with them. But please don't worry. If you cannot understand anything, then please write in the chat box. I will definitely take that back. No problem is there. I will continue with that. No problem. Are you getting me? Section 16 subsection 2 is an overriding section of subclause 4. Subsection 16 subsection 2 जो है override करता है subsection 16 subsection 4 को. चारों कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई है. मैंने गुड्स परचेज किया, बोनाफाइड, मैंने गुड्स का पेमेंट किया, मेरे पास टैक्स इनवॉइस है, मैं रिटर्न अपना फाइल अप करने जा रहा हूं एमनेस्टी स्कीम में. I am following all the condition as mentioned in section 16 subsection 2. Then how can you deny me the credit? How can you deny the credit? Please note. Yes, of course, till the time I have not filed my return as a buyer, I was not able to take the credit. Why? Because I was not fulfilling the condition. But now I am filing it. I am fulfilling the 4th condition. How can you deny the credit to me? You are eligible for the ITC. Please, I think you are taking this very, very important thing from this amendment, from today's discussion. Thanks to you all, thanks to Optotax for organizing this webinar. Then now, if you are filing return of any late filer, please, you can take the ITC credit. Of course, department will not agree. Department will issue notice to you. But as I said earlier as well, you are having a commission appeal, you are having tribunal, you are having high court, you are having Supreme Court. You will get the justice because law is in favor of you. Law itself says that you have to comply only with the 4 conditions for availment of the ITC. Right? Otherwise, you do not give the amnesty scheme. If you do not let us file the return, you do not want that we file the return, why you are giving us the amnesty scheme that now? And please, again, an important fact. This amnesty scheme for the GSTR 3B only, not for 1, 9 or 9C. And for claiming the ITC, which GST return shall I file? GSTR 1 or GSTR 3B? GSTR 1 or 3B? Which GST return I shall file to claim the ITC? 1 or 3B? Please answer. 3B. Anand Babu is saying 3B. Ashish ji is saying 3B. Indar, Lathaji, all are saying 3B. Okay. Fine. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for replying. 3B is the return through which we can claim the ITC, right? And amnesty scheme for the 3B, meaning thereby government wants that we foil the 3B, meaning thereby government wants that we fulfill the fourth condition to claim the ITC. Then why we are denying ourselves, why we are denying to the clients that we cannot claim the ITC? Please take the ITC, please take the ITC and let it be a litigation matter. Definitely, you are having very good legal points to litigate it. Overriding factor, section 16 subsection 2 is overriding the section 16 subsection 4. Am I clear now? Am I clear? Are you with me? Now my question again to you, the same question. Now after this discussion, whether we shall claim ITC in our 3B, which we are filing now as a defaulter in this amnesty scheme. Who are ready to take the ITC? Who are ready to take the risk? Who are ready to go to the litigation? Who are ready to service to this, to give best services to the buyer as per the law? All are ready now? Great. Shrikantji is saying yes. Yes, Shrikantji, of course, litigation matters. Litigation is a costly for small taxpayer, I agree. But please see, 80,000 is not a low cost. And please make a note that 1 lakh rupees since August, since March 2018 till today's date, 18% per annum is the interest rate. You have to pay interest on 1 lakh rupees. Please note. But if it is the case, if you will claim the ITC, then you have to pay the interest on only at rupees 20,000, which you have not yet paid. Only on 20,000. So you will save the interest also. Yes, litigation is there. It may be some cost. There may be some cost, but you have to see. You are the best just to see the cost benefit analysis. किसमें ज़्यादा benefit है? ITC claim करने में, फिर litigation जाने में, या फिर ITC ना claim करके ना litigation जाने में? You are the best just. Please do a cost benefit analysis from the perspective of small taxpayer. Then you can decide. Right? Great. Santosh is saying we have claimed the ITC while taking the declaration from the clients. Great. Great. No problem is there. Now, one more thing, very, very important thing. Why this amnesty scheme is always for the defaulters, always for the late filers? Why? Honest taxpayer. Government shall think about the honest taxpayers also, who is regularly filing the return. Even for some month, if he has not filed the return, he has filed it with the late fees, which is very higher. Even 10,000 for a month, the late fees has been paid on filing the return. Is it good? We are developing a good practice. Are we doing justice to the honest taxpayer? This is the question. This is the question. Many honest taxpayer who has paid the tax late fees is coming to me, is coming to you and asking, sir, what is this? The taxpayer who is defaulter, who has not filed the return, is getting the benefit, but we who have paid 10,000 late fees per month for 4 or 5 months, we are not getting any refund. Is it a good practice? That's why this is a problem of our system. This is a problem of our system. Government should have refunded that late fees. It would have created a confidence in the buyer. It would have created respect for the government in the mindset, in the view, in the heart of the taxpayers. But no, this is not the case. That's why honest taxpayer, of course, will do the default. If he has not filed the return, he will ask the tax practitioner, to the CA and to the advocate, yes, please stop, please do not file the return. Why? Because there may be amnesty scheme. I will file in that. Two times the government has issued 2 times this amnesty scheme. It shall not be there. Government shall think about it. It is not the justice to the honest taxpayer. And defaulter, there can be defaulter of 2 types. One who is genuinely under mistake, that yes, I was not aware that nil 3B is also required. Another may be a willful defaulter. Now in this case, willful defaulter is getting the benefit, and honest taxpayer is feeling cheated. So this shall not be there. again, okay, I am done with this case study. Now I think I am clear on this point that even if you are filing the 3B with this amnesty scheme, you can definitely take the credit keeping in mind the legal provisions of the act, right? Next case study, very important case study, which is going litigation is going on nowadays on this matter. CSR expenses. You are aware, I think you all are aware about the Companies Act. There's a section 135 under the Companies Act 2013, subsection 5 of section 135. What does it say? It laid down some condition. I'm not discussing that conditions because it is not the Company Act discussion, but yes, this is somehow related to the GST. Section 135 subsection 5 of the Companies Act 2013 laid some conditions which if a businessman satisfies, then it is mandatory for that businessman to incur the CSR expenditure, which is absolutely written there. There's certain percentage, 1%, 2%, 3%, as per the Companies Act, that business has to incur that expenditure. That's for the society, corporate social responsibility. Government has, this is for the, of course, this is for the corporate assessee only, not for the non-corporate assessees. All the companies, all the body corporate assessees has to comply with. Now, Income Tax Department has said that this expenditure which the company is incurring for the CSR expenses will not be treated as eligible business expenditure. Income Tax has clarified the situation. No business expenditure shall be treated. Suppose, let's say you are expending 100 crore rupees, 100 crore rupees as CSR activity expenditure for the society. Income Tax Act will not give benefit of the tax on that 100 crore rupees to you. Income tax says it is application of funds. It is not the expenditure. It is the application of fund which you have to do. Now, this is the Income Tax Act. Now, what about the GST Act? If you are paying 100 crore rupees expenditure, then of course you might have purchased some good, you might have incurred some services. Absolutely, of course. Either it will be a goods, or it will be a services, or it will be a capital goods. No, if not input, it will be a capital goods. And whatever purchase I am making, there will be ITC on that invoices. Am I right? Are you with me? Are you with me? Shall I proceed? Are you getting me? Shall I proceed further? Are you with me? Sunday time, 3:27 is the time. Might be some heavy to you. Okay, Chandramala ji, Lata is saying yes, sir. Okay, then I proceed further. ITC shall be available. My question is, on that 100 crore rupees which I have incurred for the CSR expenditure, ITC shall be available. Now, before I answer, I come to the question. I come to two advanced ruling. One advanced ruling is related to the Kerala High Court. Kerala advanced ruling. Kerala state advanced ruling says ITC will not be available. Please make note. Kerala advanced ruling says that ITC will not be ITC will not be available on the CSR expenditure. And there is another advanced ruling of the UP state. UP state says, please see the logic, very important. Please appreciate, please listen carefully, very, very carefully. It is going to be very interesting. UP advanced ruling, UP state advanced ruling says, see, on CSR expenditure, ITC will be available. What is the legal? What is the logical in this advanced ruling? Please listen carefully. UP advanced ruling says, since law is making the foundation on the assessee to incur the expenditure, right? If I have to do the business, I have to comply with the section 5 subsection 135 of the Companies Act 2013 if I have to survive. Otherwise, my business will be cancelled. Government will stop me to do the business, right? So it is legally foundation for me to incur the CSR expenditure, meaning thereby it is my expenditure. It is my business expenditure, right? And ITC is always available if my expenditure is done in the tune in the course or furtherance of business. ITC will be available. No problem is there. So this is the legal point which the UP advanced ruling takes. This expenditure, ये CSR expenditure जो आप incur कर रहे हैं, ये आप legally bound है करने के लिए. Why? Because law says this. And if it is legally bounded, if it is legally bound to do the expenditure, then definitely ITC shall be available, right? Business definition, if we see the business definition, then definitely this business definition is defined under subsection 617 or subsection 2 of CGST Act. What is the definition of business? It says business includes any profession, manufacturing, trading, occasion, whether or not for the peculiar benefit, and any incidental activity related to this will also be treated as business. Business definition also clarify that any supporting expenditure, any supporting or incidental activity relating to the main business activity is also a business. Then it is very absolutely clear that CSR expenditure is a part of my business. I am incurring it because law says this. It is very, very pertinent. It is very, very mandatory for me to run the business that I incur this expenditure. And if I incur this expenditure, then ITC shall be allowed to me. First thing. Are you agree with me? This is a legal point. I am not saying anything. Law says this. But yes, we are less aware about the fact. Now, many people say that, sir, this is blocked under section 17 subsection 5. Okay, let's discuss that also. I am going to discuss that now. Department is saying that you cannot take credit of the CSR expenditure because this is blocked under section 17 subsection 5. Now, let's discuss subclause H of subsection 5 or section 17. It says you cannot avail the benefit. There's a negative list in the GST Act, CGST Act, that is section 17 subsection 5 is the negative list of the ITC. You cannot claim the ITC if you are falling in section 17 subsection 5. One thing, section 17 subsection 5 subsection H, it says, please listen very, very carefully. You cannot claim the ITC if your goods is lost, your goods is stolen, your goods is destroyed either by yourself, either by fire or by any natural calamity. No differentiation has been done. If your goods is lost, if your goods is stolen, it is destroyed, or you have written off the goods because this is expired, you distribute the goods as gift or as a sample to any person, then you are not able to take the credit. You cannot claim the credit if this condition gets fulfilled. Now, please tell me, in case of CSR expenditure, my goods is lost? No. My goods is stolen? No. My goods which I have purchased for incurring the CSR expenditure is destroyed? No. I have written off the goods? No. I am entering the stock in my books of account. I am making it out in my books of accounts. Absolutely. Now, whether I am incurring this expenditure as gift, am I giving this goods as gift or sample? My humble submission is no. I am not giving these goods as gift or sample. I am incurring this expenditure and distributing these goods to the society because law says me. CSR is a gift. One question comes in our mind, whether CSR is a gift. What is the definition of gift? What is the definition of gift? Gift is a compulsion. No. I will give to anyone if my voluntarily. See, if I am happy, Optotax is happy with me, then Optotax can give me something. But it is not compulsion on the Optotax. If when I am agreeing to the Optotax to deliver that discussion, Optotax is not bound to give any gift to me. Meaning thereby Optotax can give me but voluntarily, not compulsorily, right? So in the case of CSR expenditure, same is the condition. I am not incurring it voluntarily. Please make a note. I'm not making it voluntarily. Government has made compulsion to me. Central government only has make it compulsory to me that I shall incur the expenditure. Then how is it a gift? How is it gift to the society? No, not at all. I am doing it because you have made it mandatory for me. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? So my humble submission is that section 17 subsection 5 subclause H does not cover the CSR expenditure because it is not a gift. So if it is not covered under section 17 subsection 5 subclause H, meaning thereby you are not covered on the negative list and you are perfectly eligible to claim the ITC on this. Perfectly eligible. Are you getting me? Have you get the concept on it? Tanya ji, I can see that members are lefting from 200 it comes to 160. So please let me know how much time I have to deliver, because I have one or two more cases yet.
Sir, if there are only one or two cases left and it
Yes,
won't
one or
take
two
much
cases.
time,
No.
then fine. It's fine. We still have 160 people around with us.
Okay.
So let's deliberate for another 10-15 minutes and then
Right. Definitely. All the participants are ready to listen more, because Tanya ji से तो पूछ लिया, आपसे पूछना भी जरूरी है. Are you ready to listen further case studies? Please write it fastly in the chat box. अभी भी है कुछ बचा हुआ अंदर सुनने के लिए? Okay, Inder is saying continue. Section sub Ashish is saying section 17 subsection 5 omitted. I am with you, Ashish ji. Why, when your object was seamless flow of credit, then why you have inserted section 17 subsection 5? Nevertheless, I am going further. Many small issues are there, which the businessmen and which the tax practitioners are paying in day-to-day routine. Please listen carefully. Gift versus sale promotion. Gift versus sale promotion. Absolutely. If I am making gift or sample to someone, ITC shall not be available, right? It is clear. Now, as far as sales promotion is concerned, what is sales promotion? Let's say if I have to increase my sale, I will give some discount to the buyer. I can give 1+1 offer. For example, buy one get one free. I can give this offer to the buyer. I can give my buyer an option that if you fulfill this criteria,
I guess there were some issues. There are some issues with the Vinit's or internet. Let me check and get back to you. Just stay with us. Don't worry. We are here. So video lost, and yes, he's joining again. There must be some internet connection issue on his part. So don't worry. Yeah, he had joined again. Just stay with us. Don't worry. He had joined with us in a minute or so, not even a minute. In few seconds, he will be able to share this. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a big. I don't know. There was some interruption. Sorry for the interruption. See, I am a shirt buyer. I am a shirt trader. I have two shirts. One shirt is for 5,000. Another shirt is for 5,000. What I am doing, I am selling both the shirts, 5,000 plus 5,000, 10,000 worth rupees goods. I am selling for 5,000 only for 5,000. Right. So my question to you is, how much? On what amount shall I charge the GST? Is it simple question? It is a very simple question. Please answer me. On what amount shall I charge the GST? On 5,000 or on 10,000? Please answer quickly. 5,000 or 10,000? Please answer on 5,000 or 10,000. Okay, 5,000. Yes, this is right answer. I shall charge the tax on 5,000 because the charging section, that is section 7 itself, says that if the consideration is whatever consideration you are charging and the buyer and seller are not related, then of course you will pay the taxes on that consideration charge. No problem is there. Absolutely right. Now my question is whether the ITC which you have taken on 10,000 rupees will be eligible to you or not. What shall be happen in this case? Will the department will disallow the ITC to the tune of rupees 5,000? Yes, Rangnath, Mr. Rangat Mai saying that on 5,000 it shall be taken and 5,000 shall be reversal. Ashish is saying no reversal shall be there, on entire 10,000 the credit shall be available. No. So we are getting mix up of answer. Ashish Miglani is saying not eligible. See. My humble submission, as we have recently discussed section 17 subsection 5, it says you are not eligible for the ITC if you are selling the goods as gift. If you are doing the gift of the goods, or you are doing it sample, you are selling it on sample basis. So in this particular case, am I making any gift? No, I am giving it to the buyer at the discounted rate. It is not a gift because he is paying to me. Second, is it a sample? No, this is not the sample. This is not the gift. This is not the sample. So in my humble submission, this case is not covered under section 17 subsection 5. So meaning thereby I am absolutely perfectly eligible to take the ITC on entire 10,000 rupees. Please take a note. Entire 10,000 rupees I am legally eligible because I am not covered under section 17 subsection 5. Right? Are you getting me? Are you with me? In my humble submission, ITC shall not be illegible. Entire 10,000 rupees ITC shall be eligible to you. Okay. So if you are already taking ITC on 5,000, so please, you can correct yourself in future. In this case, you can take an ITC on entire 10,000 rupees, right? Now another example. Say if my distributor has achieved some sales target, right? So now with my happiness, I am giving a gold coin to him, right? So in this case, whether will I eligible to take the ITC on the gold coin which I have purchased? Please answer. Will I be eligible to claim the ITC on the gold coin which I have purchased to give it to the my distributor who have completed the sales target? Please answer. Yes or no? Yes or no? No ITC. Ashish ji, no ITC. Oh my God. Oh my God. No ITC. Okay. Okay. All are saying no ITC. But again, with humble request, again, my view is different from you all. You all are saying no, but I am saying yes. The reason is the same, which we have discussed. It is not the gift. This is not the gift. This is my obligation. I have entered with my distributor that, and I have entered with my distributor an agreement in the inception, and at the very inception, that if you will achieve the sale target, then I will give you the incentive. It can be in any form. It can be a discount. It can be a person. It can be a further discount rate. Either it can be anything. But it is for sure. This was my legal obligation. First thing. Second thing. This is in the furtherance or course of business. This is not for my personal purpose. This is only for the furtherance or this is in the course or furtherance of my business. So again, I do not fall in section 17 subsection 5. So if I am not covered in the negative list, so मेरे को ITC मिलेगा इसका, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है अपने को, सब मिलेगा ITC, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लेने का, पक्का लेने का, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ITC को, मत छोड़ो, आप प्लीज ले लो ITC, क्लेम करो, gold coin or at gold coin I am perfectly eligible to take the ITC, right? So this is another example. I hope you are agree with me. Please tell me, are you with me? Are you agree with me? Sir, what is the final crux for CSR activities? Inder bhai, on CSR expenditure, GST will be eligible. No problem is there. Eligible. Advertisement. Sumit ji is asking about advertisement. On advertisement, ITC absolutely will be eligible. Why? Because it is in the course of furtherance of business. The absolute aim of the blocking of credit under section 17 subsection 5 is only and only gift and sample, right? If you are doing something which is not in the course of business, which is out of business, then only it will be ineligible. Otherwise you are absolutely eligible to take the entire ITC. Please note, entire ITC. I hope you are agree with me that for this is a seamless flow of credit. If I am incurring some expenditure for my business purpose, for increasing my sale, for increasing my revenue, for increasing my profit, then what is the harm to claim the ITC? No harm is there. I am not doing any charity. I have not given the gold coin as a charity, not as a gift. It was my legal foundation because I was into the agreement with that, right? So next thing only. Burning issues of the day. COVID expenditure ITC, right? See, nowadays, many companies are facing the HR problem, human resource problem, because many employees are facing COVID issues. Many employees have faced this issue. Unfortunately, many have lost us in this world alone. So question is, the company which is incurring expenditure for safety measure, for safety precaution of the employees or for their vaccination, they are paying GST. So my question to you is whether GST shall be eligible or not. Please answer. Please answer whether on this COVID expenditure GST will be eligible or not. Please answer quickly because we are having very less time. In 5 minutes I will conclude. No problem. Ashish is saying yes. Thank you, Ashish ji. You are very interactive throughout the session. You have answered each and every query of mine. Anand Babu is saying no. Shrikant and all other, Shubhangi, Shrikant, Jinder, you all are saying that yes, it is eligible, but no. See, again, there is a mix-up answer. Some are saying no, some are saying yes. Saloni is saying yes. So my answer, my humble opinion is yes, it is eligible. Why it is eligible? See, I am incurring this expenditure to protect my asset, which is very valuable to me, without which I cannot do my business. So this expenditure in the course or furtherance of my business only. I am not giving any gift to my employee. I am not giving any freebie to my client, to my employee. I am giving this facility to my employees so that they work with my company, with my organization, with their 100% capacity. They must be safe, they must be healthy, only then my organization can run. This is very valuable asset, that is HR, my human resource asset. Only then I will be eligible for the ITC. So department may deny you that that input will not be available, but my humble submission, you are absolutely legally eligible to claim the ITC. Please claim of that. No problem will be there, because you are not covered under section 70 subsection 5 in the negative list. And this vaccination, this expenditure on the COVID for the protection and safety of workers is in the course or furtherance of business only, right? This is not your personal thing. It is not the personal thing of employees. This is for your business only. So this will be the case. No problem is there. Now, I will conclude myself now, because time I have taken, I think, much time, and thankful to you all because you were there to me, and I hope this was an interactive session. So I myself, Vineet Rathi, is always available to you. Maybe some query I have missed throughout in this session. So please note down my number for any query, or please note down my email ID so that you can contact with me. I will definitely reply to you. Maybe I may be a bit late because अपने लिए भी थोड़ा टाइम निकालना पड़ता है, जरूरी है लाइफ के लिए. So please note down my number. It is 971724 I'm repeating, 971724 This is my WhatsApp number. You please revert whether the session was good, what you have liked, what you have not disliked in this session, what improvement can be done. It will help Optotex also in their future webinars. What do you want? जैसे आया था मैसेज हिंदी वाला. I am very sorry that I cannot continue in Hindi language due to certain limitations. So thank you so much. And my email ID is ca@gmail.com. Vineet, VINEETRATHI Vineet Rathi@gmail.com. Please feel free to ask me any query, to ask me any discussion. We can do it. Absolutely. So I am concluding here as a concluding remark as a GST. So the object, again I repeat, the
I guess there are some internet connection issues with sir. So till the time he's back, it was really interactive discussion by sir on the topic, which is so detailed and intricate. With the help of the case studies, I could see in the chat box throughout the discussion how much you professionals were enjoying learning from him despite the Sunday afternoon.
Again it was interrupted. So please, I will take two, three more minutes. Please listen. So there are a lot of sections, subsections. There are many rules in that CGST Act and the CGST rules which are hurdles in claiming the ITC. And please appreciate that since on 1st July 2017, GST law was implemented in the country with 5 exceptions. On 5 products, GST were not levied, and to till date GST are not levied on these products. And the products are petrol, diesel, ATF, crude oil, natural gas. तो ये इस पे जो हम पे कर रहे हैं taxes, what about that? There's cascading effect. The diesel price, the petrol prices are on high, on You can see the record prices of the oil and diesel. So how much tax we are paying on this? Isn't it cascading effect? It is not increasing our cost. I am not eligible to take the ITC on this. So these are the burning issues. Please, a hand-folded request to the government, please improve the system, please improve the portal, please inform, please educate your departmental officer that please do not unnecessarily harass the assessee. Please give them their right, please give them their opportunity of being heard. Right. So I rest my case here. Thankful once again to Rajat Gurnani bhai, to the Optotax, the team, to the Tanya ji for the wonderful moderation of the program. Always she do the wonders in moderating the program. Thank you so much, and thanks to everyone at Sunday. You all are with me right now. Over 124 people are with us. So thank you so much to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an interactive discussion on the topic, which is so detailed and integrated with the help of case studies. It could not have been better. I could see in the chat box throughout the discussions how much professionals were enjoying learning from you despite the Sunday afternoon. I wasn't expecting this, but they had thoroughly enjoyed throughout the session. Since now we are moving towards end of our deliberation, I would like to conclude by saying and adding to what Vineet sir said, that you focus on more important and delicate aspects of GST practice like advance ruling, litigation, and leave the compliance part like return filing, downloading of acknowledgements of 3B, or be it having purchase reconciliation with GSTR 2A for the whole year with us. We will provide you with that. You don't worry. So you can always reach us via mail or phone, and we will be more than happy to put rest to your concerns. So I really appreciate everyone for patience hearing, and would request everyone to enjoy your lunch or evening snacks, whatever it is. So keep providing us with your valuable feedback. Keep using Optotax if you haven't, and see you soon with much more insightful sessions, as we won't leave your hand till the time you are eager to learn and grow. So, sir, should we end?
Yes, please, Tanya ji. I'm also hungry.
Sure. So
thank you everyone. Thank you Ashish ji, Suraj ji, Dikshit ji, Ashish Miglani ji, Bharat bhai, Mehta, BM Mehtar sir, Rangnath ji, Tarsem Kumar, Ashish Miglani ji, Shrini ji, Dipankar Day, Himanshu ji. List is so long. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone from core of my heart. दिल की गहराई से आपका धन्यवाद. Thank you Tanya ji.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.